Tiger football, number one in the group of five. That's according to the USA Today coaches poll. Number 30, just ahead of Boise. Picked to win the American, by the way. Texas, San Antonio, Tulane also receiving votes. So is Troy, by the way, which will be the second game of the season, which makes that sort of an interesting game. So if you're out there thinking about going, that Troy game is actually a good football game. I couldn't believe the domination by the SEC. Nine SEC schools in the top 20. 6 of the top 12. Georgia number 1. Then Ohio State, Oregon, then Texas, Alabama, and Ole Miss. Ole Miss 6 in the country. What a year it is going to be in the SEC. What a year it is for the Chicago White Sox. They are trying to be the worst Major League Baseball team in history. Lost 5-1 last night to a bad Oakland team. So my Chi Sox, yes, I am Cubs and Sox. The I-80 rule, if you're below I-80, you can be for both. And when they play each other now, it's totally irrelevant anyway. But my Chi Sox have tied the record with the 88 Baltimore Orioles, losing 21 games in a row. The Major League Baseball record, modern times. 61 Philadelphia Phillies lost 23 in a row. Zach Boyd? Are the White Sox going to break that record?
Yes, they will.
Wow, so you're saying they're going to get swept by the lousy Oakland A's?
Yes, they will.
I say the White Sox win tonight. You know what the worst record ever is? The worst record in Major League Baseball, this is not modern record. It was really the American Association, but that's what they called the American League back in those days. It was the 1889 Louisville Colonels. The Colonels that year lost 26 in a row. Since you've got them losing 23, will they get to 26? Zach Boyd? 5 more?
It's possible.
Man, you have great faith in the total futility of the White Sox.
They gutted. I mean, whatever's left on their team, they gutted it over the trade deadline.
So the Colonels that year in the American Association, their record was 27-111. There was a guy, I promise you, I said this before the season. There was a guy that predicted the White Sox would win only 40 games this year. People were going, yeah, we know they're terrible, but that's crazy. They'll win at least 60 and lose 100 games because usually that's what crummy teams do. But the Mets, the 62 Mets, they lost 40. They only won 40 games.
Yeah. I mean,
they lost 120. White Sox have only won 27. Can they win 13 more? It's just absolutely unbelievable futility. Crazy. Absolute nuts. We'll see what happens tonight. My prediction is it ends at 21, so they don't become the worst team ever in the history of the game.
They will fire their manager at the end of the season.
Oh, yeah. They're going to fire everybody should be fired. If I were the owners, I'd fire them. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're trying to get some prospects to rebuild. It's going to be a long rebuild, that is for sure. I loved the Olympic Games. I love them. I love the way they're being covered. I love the fact you can see them live, and then there's a great recap in the evening in case you missed any of it. Today is interesting. Women's soccer semifinals. It's USA against Germany. That should be great. That takes place right when we get off the show. And then, of course, everybody at 2:30 will be watching, I believe it's quarterfinals for the men in basketball. They'll take on Brazil. Yesterday, Sam Kendricks. Do you remember that name?
I do remember that name.
You remember when he was on this show sort of to really publicize and promote because he partook pre-Olympics of the Ed Murphy track meet that we had here at Memphis and down on Beale. He actually pole vaulted on Beale, silver medal yesterday.
Woo.
Battling with a really interesting guy. His name is Mondo Duplantis. Mondo grew up, he has dual citizenship. His father, I believe, is a Cajun. He grew up and went to school at LSU. So he grew up in Louisiana. And his mom from Sweden, I guess, they're both his coaches. And I guess he had a choice. He could have been an American pole vaulter or Swedish pole vaulter. He chose Sweden. I'm not sure why. That's an interesting story that we need to learn about. But yesterday he beat Sam Kendrick, so it came down to the two of them. And not only did Mondo get the gold, he got the world record. And this is just so amazing to me. He got the world record at it's 6.25 meters. You know what that is? That is 20 feet, 6 inches. That is bizarre. I remember, honestly, as a kid, now I'm old, but I remember when 16 feet was a hard feat to make. When they did that, that was incredible. 16, then 17, kept going up. 20 feet, 6 inches. And, when you're doing that, you think about it, you run down with this pole, right? You plant the pole. It's sort of bending, you're ascending, and you're absolutely at one point totally upside down. Have you ever done the roller coasters where you're totally upside down? See, I hate that. I don't think I could be a pole vaulter for that. Well, there's probably many reasons I couldn't be a pole vaulter. No. But my God, you're 20 feet in the air and you're totally upside down. And then you have to have the fortitude to get yourself up, and you got to tuck that arm and throw that bar away. It's incredible. It really is. Congratulations. He seems like a real character. He went over, kissed his beautiful girlfriend, and then went and kissed his parents. And it was a nice scene. 20 feet, 6 inches. That is absolutely amazing. We had an amazing tennis tournament to tell you about. I sure do miss the days of the tournament at the old Racket Club, which I think Keith Evans was a player in. Keith was a longtime ATP player. We call him our own, from Germantown, and went to Ole Miss. Played in 5 Wimbledons, 3 U.S. Opens, played in the Aussie, played in the French Open. I'm sure he's been watching this tennis here where Djokovic was the winner. But he's got a tournament at Snowden Grove down in Mississippi. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's brought to you in part by Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. I know Ken is built below the border there. He's built all over this marketplace. Go to kengarland.com to see what I'm talking about. If you want brand new, just beautiful palace of a home, you call Ken. Go to his website. Make sure you see what I'm talking about, because we're third generation of Ken Garland now. 2 Kens and now a William, all in the business. Over 75 years of expertise. So you look at their resume, you go, oh, my goodness. And if you want to remodel, I call it renovation with innovation. He'll put all the new modern amenities in the beautiful home you don't want to leave, because you love your lot, you love your location, your neighborhood, your neighbors. You're staying put, but you want all the new things. Ken Garland can do that for you, I promise. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Let's head to Snowden Grove. Let's talk to our good friend, Keith Evans. Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. How's it going?
Excellent. Excellent. So glad that you're bringing tennis back. I guess this is your 5th tournament in Mississippi. I'm kind of confused, so clear this up for me. There used to be a really good tournament for up-and-comers that took place at Germantown Country Club. Was that the one? Were you involved in that?
Yes, I was the tournament director there.
Yeah, I thought you were. So you
and back then we had Dennis Shapovalov.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember you telling me. I came up and I was talking with Phil Stukenberg. You approached us and you said, guys, watch this guy, Dennis Shapovalov. I remember that so distinctly. So that was a lot of fun. So then, of course, Germantown Country Club closed. You've moved this tournament around, but once it was in Tunica, right? And now you found this new place at Snowden Grove?
Yeah, it's at Snowden Grove. Michael Johnson used to be my hitting partner when I was on the tour, and he is the director of tennis at Snowden Grove, and So I moved it here to Snowden, and it's been great. South Haven's been awesome to us. We've got brand new lights. So for the first time, we're doing night matches tonight. It starts at 6 o'clock. We've got Memphis's number one player, Harry Rock. He's from England. He's Memphis's number one player. He's playing tonight in our featured match at 6 o'clock.
So explain this to me, because we got new NIL rules and everything else. He's an amateur. He plays for the U of M, this kid from England. You got $25,000 of purse money in this deal. What happens if he wins?
Well, the NCAA has a new rule that players can accept up to $10,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
And I guess they would figure that would be their expenses, going to and from tournaments and, hotels and things like that. So they've made it to where these guys can, play some pro tournaments and see how they do, and they can, make decisions whether they want to turn pro or go back to college.
Wow. So it's $25,000 purse. What does the winner get?
Right. The winner wins about $3,800.
So Harry, if he wins this, he can take it all.
Yeah, he can take it all.
Oh, beautiful.
He sure can.
Has he got a chance? Because I know you got the number one junior, Kalen Biggin. Is that really his name, Biggin? I mean, that's incredible.
Okay, well, he actually withdrew. He got into a bigger tournament, and he withdrew about 2 days ago.
What a bum.
But, yeah, that's his name. But I tell you who we do have. We've got this kid, Nico Gotzik, and his mother is Mary Jo Fernandez.
Really?
And his dad is Roger Federer's agent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Roger Federer's agent married Mary Jo Fernandez?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, I love her on the air. I think she's a terrific analyst.
I think she's one of the best ones. I really do. But this kid, he's going to be something, I think. So he goes to Stanford right now. I think he's trying to decide whether or not he's going to turn pro or not. But, he's got some good genes behind him.
Is he your number one seed?
He's not the number one seed. He's number 6. The number one seed's from Bolivia. His name is Angelo Prada, and he's a Davis Cup player for Bolivia.
Wow.
He's ranked 381, but he's a dirt baller. He likes the clay, and we're on fast hard court here, so I'll be surprised if he gets through to the final. But it's some really, really good tennis, Dave. I mean, there's really no difference in this tennis than it was at the racket club back in the day. These guys are ranked just a little bit lower, but as far as like hitting the ball, the spin on the ball, the serves, they're all, exactly the same as you would see, at the racket club back in the day. So we're glad to have this tournament back.
Tell me about a couple of other guys I heard. Aziz Douglas? Right there.
Yep. As a Dugaz.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was our one seed. He was 233 in the world, and he has withdrawn as well. Our two top ranked players had gotten into a bigger tournament. So
wow, where's that tournament at?
That's in Nebraska, actually,
Wow.
in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's a $50,000 tournament.
I see.
It kind of just goes down the scale. Our 2 seed is Andres Martin, and he was the number one player at Georgia Tech a couple years ago, but he did make the main draw in the Atlanta Open a couple weeks ago. So, he got in there and made it to, a tour event.
I heard about a kid named Aiden McHugh. Is he still in?
He's not in either. He got in Lincoln, Nebraska as well.
Okay.
And
next year, let's try to avoid Lincoln, Nebraska, huh?
That's right. Yeah. But we've got Shinsuke Mitsui, who made the final here 2 years ago. He's the University of Tennessee's number one player.
Oh, wow.
He's playing, as well as Nico Gotzik, and I'm really hoping that Harry Rock does some damage.
Does he have a chance? Does Harry have a chance?
He has a chance. He's got a massive serve. His serve's about 130 miles an hour. So I think if he can serve well on this surface, I think that he could, he actually has a shot.
What's his volley game like?
The guys nowadays, they really don't volley that much. They hit the big serve and they wait on the weak return, and then they smash that next ball, and then they kind of go in behind that one. But as far as the serving volleyer back in the day, where the chipping and charging, you really don't see it much anymore.
Huh. Well, I know that this tournament has had guys like Isner and Fish and even Andy Roddick, I believe, years and years ago. Shapovalov, you just mentioned. So it's got a lot of history. How much is it for people to come see? It's easy to get to Snowden Grove.
Oh, yeah, it's free of charge.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, tonight this is the first time that we've had matches under the lights, so we're hoping that we get a big crowd out, Usually we've been having to play in the mornings and in the early afternoons during the week, and, everybody's at work, so we don't really get a big crowd. But every day this week, tonight, tomorrow night, Thursday night, and Friday night, we're doing featured matches at night. We've got food. We've got free prime drinks for everybody that comes out and watches. And, we just want to invite everybody out and try to get the biggest crowd we can to support this event and support Harry Rock tonight.
Once again, tell everybody where Snowden Grove is and how the easiest way to get there is if you're in Memphis.
Easiest way is just to come south and exit off on Goodman Road. You're going to go, I guess you would go east on Goodman Road for about 3 miles, and it's, the Snowden Grove Amphitheater. It's right next to the amphitheater and all the baseball diamonds.
I think you could just take Getwell, right? It's really pretty much Goodman Road and Getwell, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, okay. You can just take Getwell straight down south.
There you go.
And you'd run right into it.
Last question for you, because you grew up in Germantown. I know you love Memphis. You played at this tournament here. What are your thoughts about the Leftwich Center? Because I know they want tournaments as well.
Well, we actually had an event scheduled at Leftwich. It was a $100,000 tournament, and it was supposed to be back in February, but the delay of the opening of Leftwich, it kind of set us back, and so we had to drop back down to this level. But, we're hoping that one day we can get the big tournament back. I don't see any other place it can go other than Leftwich, and that's one awesome facility.
That's terrific.
I think they really need to bring that tournament back.
You just keep working it, my friend. You're doing a heck of a job. We appreciate you. I hope you get that thing at Leftwich. I hope people come to this thing because all these juniors are great. I mean, you're going to see some players that are going to end up playing in the U.S. Open. They're going to play in all the majors. You'll know their names. It is taking place, Snowden Grove, starting tonight under the lights. Thank you, Keith. We appreciate you. Best of luck.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it as always. Have a good one.
You got it. That is Keith Evans. I tell you what, that is free. So go. You want to see the future of tennis? You're a tennis nut? This is the best. Free drinks. Love that, too. We're going to talk business of sports. Speaking of free, nothing's really ever free, is it? We're sitting in the family leisure. It's almost free with those unbelievable sales. They got party sale for summer still going on. You're getting bonus time here for 24-foot above-ground pools under $2,000. The big 4-person hot tubs, which, usually 2 people go in. You got so much room. $3,000, really, under that. Then we're talking about $1,000 off the play gyms. Their select patio furniture still in stock, up to 50% off. This is the newest stuff. It is. It's fantastic. You got to get there, though. I-40 and Whidden Road. Tell them we sent you. Check out the summer party sale at Family Leisure. Well, we're going to talk a lot of stuff, like the Bally's deal, and Memphis may not be a part of that? What? Yeah, Joe Dank's got the lowdown. Where will the Grizzlies end up? Maybe he's got some thoughts on that. If the Bally's deal breaks down, Joe Dank with the absolute inside info coming your way in a minute.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There is no reason to suffer. offer the Memphis summer heat when you could just haul yourself downtown to Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect neighborhood bar. There's nothing like the cool, comfortable atmosphere at Bell Tavern. Just grab a table or a stool at the bar and watch the poor suckers that don't know any better walk by in the withering heat in Barbaro Alley when they could be like you, inside Bell Tavern, laughing at other people. I know. It's not nice to laugh at other people. But when they're walking right past Bell Tavern, well, honestly, they kind of have it coming.
Less is more? No, more is more. That's why Taco Bell's new $7 Luxe Cravings box is stacked with all your cheesy, crunchy favorites. Think a beefy 5-layer burrito, a double-stacked taco, a Chuba Supreme, chips and nacho cheese sauce, and a drink for just $7. Live Luxe for less at Taco Bell and sign up for rewards to earn free food. Participate in Taco Bell stores for limited time only. Supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks and food freezes. Tax extra. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Concerned about qualifying purchases.
Get the highest quality diamond ring at a rock-bottom price right now at Genesis Diamonds. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price. The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy, and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence. Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event. From a half carat up to 20 carat stones, all shapes, rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, apple cuts, and princess cuts. There's never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for the best selection. Save an extra 20% off those rare, precious diamond rings now for a limited time. One per customer, please. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds on Palmer and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
I remember last Tuesday we were all celebrating because Bally's was coming back. They made their deal with Xfinity. And then we learned there are 5 teams that Bally's may be dropping from their deal. 5 NBA teams, which was sort of shocking with the inside info. Our business guy, former GM at Channel 24 and 30 and a sports producer and director of Big Time Games, Joe Dank. He joins us now. Is that true? You're telling me that we may not be getting the Grizz on Bally's? Good morning.
Well, that might be the case, yes. Good morning, David. Good to be with you again. So this came out last week right at the same time. As you recall, Diamond Sports Group, which is the owner of the Bally Sports Network, has been in a very prolonged bankruptcy proceeding right now. And as part of trying to reorg and get out of the bankruptcy, they're reevaluating many of their carriage deals. Many of them have gone away in certain markets. Phoenix and Utah are some of the markets that have already previously gone away. And so now they're reevaluating the deals in 5 other markets as they hope to emerge from the bankruptcy. And Memphis is among them. This would also affect the Pelicans in New Orleans, the Thunder in OKC, the Mavs in Dallas, and the Pistons in Detroit.
Wow.
So those are the 5 teams, and they all have a couple of different types of circumstances. In Dallas, the Stars have left Bally's there already. The Rangers deal is up at the end of this year. And so what you're seeing is for these regional sports networks to survive, they need multiple arrangements with multiple teams. A year ago, when the Suns, Coyotes, and Diamondbacks all got in, that's where that Bally's deal went away in Phoenix. They didn't renew first with one, then the other, and it all goes away. So that's the case there. In the case of Detroit, there is common ownership of the Tigers and the Red Wings. And so they're exploring their own alternative to Bally's and doing their own regional sports network. So again, that affects the viability of that. Now, in the case of OKC, New Orleans, and Memphis, the only game in town is the NBA on those regional sports networks. And so that becomes a financially difficult equation for Bally's in that case with just one team. But you see the dissolving of these other arrangements and the other Bally's product when they lost one of three. So in this particular case, it doesn't look like Bally's is interested in being in markets where there is only one team. And so that may leave the Grizzlies television home up for grabs. And we're talking about the beginning of the 24 season, which is only months away right now.
Wow.
This could be very, very important.
Training camp's in too much. You know, what's interesting to me is I'm going to tell you right now, if all I can get is the Predators from Bally's, why would I want it? Seriously. I mean, I think I get why Bally's is doing this, or Diamond Sports, but
right.
If why would I want those two Bally's channels? I guess if you're a Cardinals fan, you would, but really and truly, in the heart of football and basketball, the only thing, and hockey, the only thing you're going to get is the Predators. It's to me not such a good deal. We'll see what their alternative programming might be to that, but losing the Grizzlies now. So where do the Grizzlies go? I know some markets, didn't they last year? Start doing over like when I was a kid, over-the-air TV stations?
Well, it was interesting. Multiple teams last year during in-season announced 5 to 10 game packages with over-the-air TV station partners. Now, perhaps not ironically, in this particular case, the 5 teams we're talking about, 4 of the 5 teams did experiments with over-the-air packages, and the Grizzlies, in fact, were the only one of these 5 teams that did not do an over-the-air package last year in any form. But in the markets that we talked about where Bally's went away, both Utah and Phoenix, they have established over-the-air networks to carry all of their games, as well as a subscription-based streaming service that makes it possible for fans to watch. So, rest assured, the Grizzlies will be on TV this fall. The question is, at this point, where? And it may be, we have reason to believe that at least one broadcaster we're familiar with in the market is working and exploring this right now.
Let's go there right now, okay? I mean, and this is not with inside baseball info. This is basically logic. So there's 2 stations that would do it. Okay, well, I guess we could say 3 because ABC, ESPN is heavily involved in the NBA, but NBC has become heavily involved, and we know they love sports because look at what we're doing with the Olympics, which we'll get to in a second. The other would be 30 because it's really not a major network. I guess some people would say CW is. You tell me. You used to run that station, but that seems like a logical place. Although the new guy that runs that station does not seem to be that interested in sports. But Channel 5, NBC, not only could they put over the air on regular 5, they've got like 901 FC. They've taken some of the stuff 30 used to have, and they've put it on one of their other stations, 5.3 or whatever the heck it is, which if you had over the air, you'd go to that. It's on the, I think it's 905 or 705, whatever it is on Xfinity. But they've got options that you can do not just over the air, but on a cable stream that's still like over the air.
That's right. I mean, look. I mean, that would be a sub-channel of WMC. That would be one option. As you said, the CW station might be another option, although there are increasing network demands there because CW has become involved on a national level in sports with Live Golf and with the ACC football and basketball and with some of the things that they've done. But nevertheless, I mean, there will be an option and there will be interest, I would suspect, by local broadcasters to get involved in this. Gray Television does own WMC, and on a national basis, Gray continues to get involved in sports. and has done some interesting deals. So I would suspect that there's certainly a player for this. And again, as we say, it's not a question of if the Grizzlies will be on TV in the fall. It's just where they will be on. And look, this is part of the evolution of the broadcasting game as we once knew it, and the viability of the regional sports networks continues to be difficult. Cord cutting has cut into one of their primary revenue streams, which was subscription fees, and as a result, these deals aren't as good as they once were. Look, the real impact here, and the interesting impact here, is the revisions that are occurring with the local television deals for NBA teams are going to lead to reductions in revenue.
Yeah, it was just
some are estimating, David, in the range of 30 to 50% on those TV deals. So those become significant. And the average regional sports network deal for an NBA team was $30 to $40 million a year.
Really?
Now the big markets sniff up to $100 million, in a New York or in LA.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, you take a 30 to 40 point haircut on $30 to $40 million. That's two or three players.
Well, so it is interesting. That was my last question on this. We'll end it this way. I didn't know how much the local package. We know that the league is making $7 billion a year from national packages, which is incredible. I didn't realize or understand how much a local package could mean. Like, what do you think the Grizzlies were making from Bally Sports that we know is gonna be much? Well, who knows what they're going to piece together? But what do you think it was last year?
Listen, nobody knows for sure, but as I say, it's reported that those Bally's deals with NBA teams in non-major markets were averaging between 30 and 40 million per team. Man. So they're certainly in that.
That's more money than I really thought for those local packages. That's but as you said, that's getting a haircut.
Hey, it's big business. The franchises aren't valued at $1 billion because there's no revenue, right?
$2 billion. $2 billion is what they're valued at.
That's what I'm saying. Billions and billions.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's move on to the Olympics. I heard a really interesting thing from Mike Tirico. Pre-Olympics, he was talking about how in Tokyo nobody was allowed to go, and the ratings were not so good for the Olympic Games. People really did not care. They had other things on their mind. The next Olympics were literally a year later in China. So you had two Asian that didn't really do all that well. And Winter Olympics never knock you over, right? He said, we need a home run in Paris. We need to make the Olympics relevant again. I think Paris did the job. You tell me.
Yeah, if he was looking for a home run, I think he got a Grand Slam home run.
Oh, wow. Great.
The numbers are huge. This Sunday, the past Sunday, 35.4 million. How does that compare to the same middle Sunday of the Tokyo Games in 2021? They doubled it, plus 103%.
Wow.
So, unbelievable. Second best day of the 2024 Games this year, but just unbelievable. And then the average of the first 10 days of these games is now at 33 million. That's plus 80%. So a couple interesting things about this. Now, NBC is reporting average viewership numbers based on a couple of things that once were not the case, and that is all of the afternoon viewership is counted into these numbers, and this is a consolidation of the multiple platforms that NBC is presenting. So, it is on Peacock, on multiple channels, even by sport and everything else. But USA Network is carrying Olympics. There are two Olympic channels on the Xfinity cable system. All of this in addition to NBC.
And Peacock. So don't forget Peacock.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. And they're combining all of this stuff to deliver these numbers. Now, here's an interesting comparison if you want to see how television viewership has tended to migrate from the old traditional over-the-air broadcast network. Back in 2012, 12 years ago, right? That was the London Olympic Games. Through 10 days in 2012, only in the prime time 7 to 10 p.m. window on the NBC television network. The average audience at that time was 33.6 million people. So that 12 years ago on a single platform, the NBC TV network, with a time shift, a lot of that stuff clearly was not live in prime.
Right.
Perhaps none of it was live in prime at that time. That was the old days of putting it all together and putting a tape-delayed show on TV.
Right.
They averaged over 33.5 million people. And now we're through the roof, saying it's a Grand Slam, with 33 million
same number.
on this conglomeration of networks and using afternoon time periods and everything else. So viewership trends have clearly changed, but this moment in time, this snapshot in time, NBC is killing it, and I think it's all been really good stuff, too.
Me too.
Compelling stories, good production, great games, great contests, and some big finishes and some high-profile stuff yet this week.
Well, I really love it. I mean, the commitment by NBC is amazing. You can watch on NBC or USA. Those are the two I seem to go back and forth with. You can watch at all times a day. I mean, after the Today Show, which is abbreviated to an hour at 8 o'clock, NBC is covering the Olympics, and you can go back and forth on those. Or if you've got something you really want to choose to see, go to Peacock, and you get anything. I just think it's amazing what they've done and their commitment, and it's so well done that I don't know how anybody could complain. I'm glad 33 million people are watching. All right, I got really excited when we talked a couple of weeks ago about the judge and the decision for those that had NFL ticket. You were going to get money. You were going to take Gail and I out to dinner with that. I guess it's all off because the $4.8 billion verdict has been reversed. Come on.
That's exactly right. You know what? It turns out that it's not illegal to offer a premium product in the marketplace, price it, sell it, and collect the money from those who subscribe. Funny how that worked out, huh?
Is there an appeal coming from those on the other side?
I think they might appeal. So, in preparation for this morning, I read the judge's 16-page ruling on the on his overturning of the verdict. Okay, and so I will only tell you. I mean, there were two experts who testified in this, and they created scenarios that the jury based its verdict on. And he threw out both of those as just not even compelling or accurate or something that should have been considered.
Right.
That testimony, that expert testimony. And, he just had, it was just so interesting. And he said, once he threw out that testimony, the judge quoted, "No reasonable jury could have found class-wide injury or damages." And that's what was always so interesting in this to me. I think I once mentioned, since the very first year in 1994 that NFL Sunday Ticket has existed, I've been a subscriber, because as I've moved around the country, I was always in places where there was going to be a chance that there were going to be a few Green Bay Packer games not available for me to watch on a Sunday. And never once did I feel anything other than I'm very happy that you were able to live somewhere other than in the home markets where the Packers games are fed, and be able to watch the games, and you just accepted that you were paying for that, and for this to have been a class action lawsuit, it was one that it wasn't. This case was once thrown out of court, then brought back, tried, came to this crazy verdict. Now this has been overturned. I will be surprised and shocked if the court takes it back up on appeal.
Wow. So which appellate court would it go to now? Could we see this to the Supreme Court? It's $4.8 billion. It's a lot of money.
Well, it would have to be tried in another level of a court before there's another appellate level between where it was and where it would have to get to the Supreme Court. But I find it very hard to believe that it will. It'll be retried.
I was trying to remember. It's $4.8 billion. How many subscribers does DirecTV have for the Sunday Ticket stuff? Like so I'm a big NFL fan. I'm a big Bear fan. Like if I want to go see the Bears, I go to a bar. That's part of it. I know. But I've never paid it myself. I'm curious as to how many people who can watch the NFL every week over TV, and all the best games are selected for Sunday and Monday night anyway. or the Fox primetime one, whatever they call that. So there's 3 games every week that are really good. How many people get that Sunday ticket?
So when they computed the damages in the case,
Yeah.
it was based on a number of subscriptions, and the residential subscriptions that they used to compute the damages were 24.1 million subscribers.
Isn't that amazing? So we're bragging, rightfully so, on the 33 million that are watching the Olympics. And there are 24 million people every week paying for a program that they can get on free TV. That's the NFL. That's the amazing thing.
Well, but they were paying for games they couldn't get for free on TV
I
in
got
their
that.
market. I mean, that's an important distinction.
But that's 24 million. That's a lot.
But again, that just speaks to the bulletproof nature of the brands that are the NFL.
I know.
I mean, is it a normal Sunday afternoon for you when you can't see your Bears? No. It's part of your life since you were a kid, right?
Right, but I've stopped watching usually halfway through the last few seasons. Maybe not this year.
Easy.
Now I got
that
Caleb
is
Williams.
easy, David, given the performance of the Bears. However, if you're a Pepper
I know.
fan,
I know.
we
Please,
seem to have kept,
I really do not want to talk this with you. Because Aaron Rodgers has made me hate the Packers even more, and now you're contributing to that hatred. I'm just letting you know. Thank you, Joe Dank. We'll talk next Tuesday.
Thank you.
That's our guy. That is Joe Dank. We got to take a break. When we come back, to Nashville we go. Standing by, the voice of the Titans, Mike Keith on the NFL. He's next on Wolo and Friends.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy of the FedEx St. Jude Championship August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Less is more? No, more is more. That's why Taco Bell's new $7 Luxe Cravings box is stacked with all your cheesy, crunchy favorites. Think a beefy 5-layer burrito, a double-stacked taco, a Chuba Supreme, chips and nacho cheese sauce, and a drink for just $7. Live Luxe for less at Taco Bell and sign up for rewards to earn free food. Participating Taco Bell stores for limited time only. Supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks and food freezes. State section. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Concerned about qualifying purchases.
This year, Dell Technologies Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on a shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding and a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call CraigGranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's head to Nashville. Our friend, the voice of the Tennessee Titans, Mike Keith, joins us now. Got a preseason game coming up with the Niners. We talk a little bit about that. Let's start with some defensive help that you got this week, the addition of Quandre Diggs. How big is that? Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning. It's a great thing, and he's here, and he's signed, and he's working. And this is exactly what we wanted. We wanted more safety depth, and we got it. And I think we're going to be in a lot of 3 safety looks in our defense this year, plus the fact that, nobody plays all 17 games generally. So you don't want the fall off at such a key position in Denard Wilson's defense. And it's a tremendous pickup for our ball club. We're really excited about it.
Since you talk about that, and I've seen a lot of predictions about the Titans and going position by position. What is the depth strength for you? Is it good, medium? Is it a problem?
I think it's good. I don't think it's tremendous. I don't think it's a problem yet. A little worried about our depth at outside linebacker. And quite frankly, if we had 8 guys right now who all went to the Pro Bowl last year, I'd probably say the same thing. That's kind of a sad statement on me as an alarmist, but I just don't think you can have enough edge guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just think that is such a key in this game. I don't think you can have enough edge guys, and I don't think you can have enough corners. And I don't think we've probably got as many of either as what I would like to have, but we're not bad. I mean, as this game is so set up, Dave, for offense, and virtually every rule is skewed towards offense.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to bat at least one pass away, hit the quarterback one time to get somebody off the field. It's just 2 positions that you absolutely have in this game. So I think we're okay, but not great.
Okay. Give me your a week and a half in or so training camp update as you approach this game with the Niners on Saturday.
Yeah, you know this. We're 2 weeks in.
2
Can
weeks.
you believe that?
Yeah. No, I can't. I've been.
I can't believe it.
Rehabbing a shoulder. I have no idea what the hell's going on. No.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe we're this far in, and that we have a game on Saturday. Just while I was on hold for 30 seconds, I was looking at 19 things that we've got to get done for the broadcast for Saturday.
Right.
So time is certainly slipping away, but it's gone well. 4 padded practices to this point, 2 more to come this week, tomorrow and Thursday. The game on Saturday against the 49ers. Don't know what they're going to do. They're the defending NFC champions, so I would guess that we're probably not going to see their starting unit. Doesn't sound like Brandon Ayuk will be part of it.
No, think he's being
Brandon Ayuk
moved.
He'll probably be playing for somebody else by then, or so it feels.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've come along. The first practice was rough. We had a lot of fights and a bunch of stuff going on. Settled down in the second practice. And then as they do the load management thing, day off, coming back with just kind of a jog through, back into 2 more padded practices last Saturday and Sunday, those were real good practices, really good work for both sides of the ball. And so the evolution of it's coming together. I think they now see what Brian Callahan and his staff want out of practice.
With the Niners on Saturday, you're talking. You're not going to see Ayuk for sure because he's gone, but they won't play their first teamers. How many will you guys play?
Virtually all of them.
Really?
Yes, that's been stated by Brian Callahan.
So Pollard's going to play. The quarterback's going to play. Everybody's going to play.
My expectation is that the quarterback and Pollard and Spears and like DeAndre Hopkins is not because he's hurt.
Right.
Jamal Adams is probably not. And, I don't know that you'll see Jeffrey Simmons for 25 snaps. But, yeah, he's going to play him because he he feels like they need to get in some sort of game-type rhythm, not just in playing but in communicating, based on the fact that so much is new around here. And they can't go into Chicago on September 8th with that being the first time they're all on the field together.
Right.
So, yeah, he's going to play the starters. He has said it.
I love that. Honestly, I love it for a fan. You mentioned Hopkins. How bad is that injury? How devastating?
I don't think it's devastating. I don't worry about Hopkins at all because I don't know that we've had 5 players who take care of their bodies the way DeAndre does. I mean, it's phenomenal. I think he'll be ready for the opener.
Oh, really?
Not because I'm a medical expert, but because I know what he'll do. And he will use the time to make certain that he's in condition and that he would have a chance to play a role. And listen, if he can't play until week 2 or week 3, we're okay. I mean, we've got enough receivers that we can certainly handle that. But the fact that he does not need any sort of surgical procedure is a big deal at age 32.
No doubt.
I mean, anytime they have to cut a guy over 30, you're like, even if it's not a big deal, you're still a little more nervous about it.
I must tell you, I was in your fair city this past weekend. My daughter and my grandson live in East Nashville, and it's really not too far from Nissan Stadium.
It's not.
And I saw this incredible, huge mound of dirt.
Yes.
And obviously I've seen the renderings in the new stadium. I've seen a bunch of commercials while I was there about it, and they're doing a good job of touting it. But I'm not sure of the timing. So, I know they're going to build where that dirt is, and then they're going to knock down Nissan Stadium. How is all that going to work, for parking and everything else during this interim period? And when are you expected to be in that new ballpark?
Okay, so everything has gone according to plan this spring and summer to where they will be able to keep doing the planned work throughout the course of the fall. So they are on schedule, and that's the good news. They got the hole dug. They've got, steel in the ground, the footers pouring some pads and things like that. So all of that process continues. And then after the season, they will be able to go even faster, and the entire facade of the stadium will be in place by sometime in 2025. So when you drive by a year and a half from now, not even a year and a half, 15 months, let's say,
okay,
you will go by and you'll say, oh, the stadium's about ready. It's like, the inside's not done, but it will look like a stadium. And then by the fall of 26, it'll be doggone close. And in winter of 2027, we'll have an open stadium with different things that will be able to happen before we ever play a football game in there.
Wow.
WrestleMania for the summer of 27.
Yeah, it's like a Super Bowl.
is already planned. Now, the parking thing is affected.
Sure.
There's just no two ways about it. We have worked it out with several area parking spots to be able to give people access, not as convenient as parking on campus, and nobody's saying it's going to be easy, but we're obviously very aware of it. We will have some of the problem alleviated because after we get into the new venue, we are knocking down Nissan Stadium.
Right.
And so for 28 and 29, we'll be able to use that area for parking before they start to do the build-out of what the city is going to do in that area, which will become part of the East Nashville neighborhood. It'll be obviously across the interstate, but it will be part of that same neighborhood.
Right. Now, and that will be more than, let's say, if you go to the Cardinals and you look what they did when they built that new stadium and they built Baseball Village, based on what I've heard, this is actually going to be not just an entertainment district, but there will be housing. There will be people that will be living in this area.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a vibrant neighborhood.
More so than an entertainment district, it's going to be residential. There will be a hotel. There will be some commercial things there. but the design and what they really came to as part of the compromise to get all the deal done is they think it's going to be the new center of the city, that it is going to be the place where people live and have the opportunity to walk across the bridge to downtown and, potentially work. And some of the houses, it's going to be priced in different ways. But, the thought of...
it's Nashville. It'll be expensive. Come on.
It'll be expensive. But the whole thing is, let's say you're a young person, you're between 25 and 30, and you have a chance to live by the stadium where all this stuff is going on all the time with the green space and the park that will be part of it. And it's just going to be really, really cool because the whole East Nashville thing has meant so much to the city. East Nashville, Germantown, kind of everything that's gone with it. And now you're going to have this area that is going to butt right up to the Oracle campus because, Oracle is moving here. And they're going on the same side of the river. They're going on the interstate side of the river. And they're going to totally sort of overtake and renovate a side of the Cumberland River that needs to be as well. And so it will be very much a continuation of that neighborhood. That's the design.
Wow. Well, I know my kids thank you. They're in East Nashville. It's amazing to me. I'm not trying to be a Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau here, but
I'm recording you right now, by the way, so don't tell anybody.
Yeah, if you are in your early 30s and you have children, this neighborhood is unbelievable.
Yes.
You got Shelby Park there, and it's really an incredible place to raise a kid. That is for sure. Well, as always, I had plenty more to talk about, but we're out of time. Next week, let's talk a little bit about the AFC South: Indy, Jacksonville, Houston, and the Titans, and where they all lie. We'll get into some other NFL stuff. Mike, enjoy the game. We'll be listening on Saturday when you guys take on the Niners. That is our friend. That is Mike Keith. He's brought to you in part by Memphis Public Golf. I've been talking all about Nashville. Let me tell you something. They have good golf courses. And that Shelby golf course, by the way, Donald Ross designed. The oldest one, I think, in all of Nashville. These public courses there, they're good, but they aren't Memphis public courses. I'm telling you, we are so lucky to have Memphis public golf the way it is, the way the new Audubon is. Anybody who's played it, you tell me, raise your hand. It's really a gem. I mean, they've redone this thing. We're going to get NCAA tournaments there. It's just fantastic. I'm taking a ride later this week of this golf course. Can't wait to do it. Because anybody that I've talked to who's played it has absolutely raved. You know about the new Pine Hill. We've enjoyed for a couple of years now the new Overton. And Galloway, you show me a public golf course better than Galloway, especially for guys that are older golfers like me. There's a challenge to it. There's water. You can't just bounce the ball up. It's just fantastic when it comes to conditioning and the layout. Public golf in Memphis. Hey, great cities have great amenities. Memphis understood that with golf, and they have really put into the Memphis public links. That'll do it for me. Johnny Radio's right around the corner tomorrow. I guess we'll make some golf picks. I'm not sure what we'll do in that regard quite yet. I know, listen, look at Zach Boyd's big smile over there for Scotty Scheffler. Oh, my goodness. We will talk golf tomorrow and a whole lot more. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.